let me show you just a little bit about how we do things here at Alabama Pipe Welders Academy. All right, so today we're going to do a 12-inch branch. We got some 12-inch 250 wall. We got a center finder. First thing I like to do is make sure the pipe is level. So we've already done that, it's level. Once the pipe's level, I make some reference lines. I get a center finder, and we could have used the bigger one, but this is what I have. Same thing. Be sure not to move the pipe when you're doing this. Now this is just for reference later on. Pipe Welder's Bible, and it's test 32, page 112 of the Pipe Welder's Bible. And this thing's pretty cool. It's got, 36 different tests in it, or 32 different tests, how-tos and for different companies, and just basically some tips and tricks on all the different pipe welding tests from all over the country. If you don't have one, you should get one. But it shows you 12 on 12, 20, schedule 20 branch layout, gives you the measurements and step-by-step how to do it. All right. So step one is measure 6 inches back. We're going to do a square line with a wraparound. So that's going to be the first thing we do. We'll go ahead and make us a mark 6 inches back. All right, so after you have your reference line 6 inches back, we're going to take some receipt paper and go around the pipe. We need to get an exact OD template. And then I'm doing this by myself, so it's a little bit, usually you have a helper helping you. You want to get everything nice and square. And then anywhere where the paper overlaps itself, you just make a square cut. And you got these 2 leftover pieces, and there's your OD. Once you have your OD, you're going to fold it 4 times in half. 1, 2. You want to be as exact as you can. 2. This is dividing the pipe into 16 equal sections. So when you go to the blue book, it'll tell you in 16ths. And that's what we're doing right now. We're just dividing the OD into 16 equal sections. Once you get that done, you can cut all 4 corners off. So get you a piece of tape. Take your pretty little outline here, line it up from the reference line. Made it back up top. We'll put it square on the reference line. Be careful not to tear it and get all the slack out of it. It's almost there. And there we go. Now we're just going to check it in the bottom and get it lined up square. Give it a few pieces of tape, keep it in place. And then there we go. Next, I'm going to go around and mark every section. And it'll be in 16s, 16 lines. I'll do it on the edge of the pipe so I know it's square. Alright, so after I kind of went ahead a little bit, but after you get your lines drawn into 16 segments, you want to number it. Number each section, or each line. So the first one will be 0, and then we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So the zeros will be opposite of each other. The 4s will be opposite of each other. I usually leave my tape on because I know where the reference line is. That just helps me. I just leave it like it is for right now. And you can see where we started to mark. So the 0 line, the zeros, the measurement is always 0. It's on the line. So your 6-inch reference line, 0 is on the line. Your second one is 7/16 of an inch. Then you have 1 and 11/16, and then you have 3 and 7/16, and then 4 is 4 inches and 5/8, and then it goes back the same way. So that's the only 4 measurements you need, and each number 1 gets 7/16, each number 2 gets 1 and 11/16, and so on and so forth. So we're going to do this and let you look at it. What's the measurement? 3 and 7/16. So we're going to come off the reference line. 1, 2, 3, and 7/16 is right here below the half. And then the next one is 4 and 5/8. I got my 6-inch reference line. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5/8 right here. And we'll do that all the way around the pipe. So we have everything marked out. I'm just going to go ahead and add one more little step in here. And I'm going to mark all my points. Sometimes they like to get rubbed off. The next step is marking your fish mouth. And usually it takes 2 people to do this, but I'm gonna show you how I line it up, and then basically we're gonna mark it. Get a close-up of how I got this. We're gonna mark it. Same thing on this side. We'll come back around, mark it like this, all 4 quarters. Get a little closer. We're checking it against the lee. You can see there's my punch mark there. Punch mark, punch mark, punch mark. So we're good to go. And this is, if you didn't have a template, this is how to do it out of the blue book. The Pipe Welder's Bible has it too, the blue book. You want to look 12 on 12 branch connection, and this is schedule 20, 250 wall. All right, so I'm going to adjust this. I don't want it too hot because I want to get a clean cut. Just remember, always cut straight in. A lot of people will get to the side and roll it this way or this way. Try to get your cuts, you want them straight in. Okay, so once we get this cut and cleaned up, we get a pretty good fit. We're gonna use a scribe with a tungsten tip. It works a lot better than a welding rod. You can see in here, there's a little light coming through, but the ears tend to spring in a little bit. So you're not gonna get the perfect fit till you cut the hole. And then we can do a little more grinding. So I'm gonna go all the way around the inside. Be careful not to move the pipe while you're doing this. Get down in the ear as far as you can, and then I come around from about right here on the outside and mark it around the ear on the outside, so I can get an inside and outside, because the ears, they're gonna cut just a little bit different. Once you do that, we'll take the soapstone and trace out where we need to. I like to use a punch and punch it about every ½ inch just to give me a guide as I'm cutting with the torch. I like a little bit smaller flame. I don't like to overheat it. So it goes from bevel up to no bevel. And we have a little land on it. See how you can't see any light right there? I think everything else will be all right. All right, so what I've been doing, 16th filler wires, I've been going around. You can see one spot right here where it's just barely touching right there. The gap's not big enough, so I'm gonna take it off one more time. I'm gonna mark it with the soapstone from here to here. And I'll touch that up, but go all the way around the outside and all the way around the inside. And then on these ears over here, we'll use a wedge to open it up and move it out. They've sprung in. So just to show you how I lay these ears out. So up top, when you trace the inside of this, you get a good line like right here. You can mark that and cut on it. But when you get down to the ear, your line on the outside is that much different from the inside because you just can't get your scribe in. So as I'm drawing my line, I'll draw from about right here on the inside and outside on the ears. And as I'm coming down and drawing my line, I'm start favoring this outside line little bit by little bit. And then once I get down to the tip, I'm pretty much on the outside line. And as I come back up, same thing, I'll start favoring the inside line until I connect to it, just kind of splitting the difference. And then I've got my true line, this middle one, that I can punch and follow my cut line. So there's a transition here from the inside of the pipe on your throat and then going to the outside line at your ear. After you cut your fish mouth and you set it on the pipe, don't try to grind anything right now to close up any gaps. Go ahead and trust your first cut and scribe it out inside and outside and make your punch lines and cut the hole out and then start working on it, working on your gaps. The ears, they spring in and they're not going to allow you to get a good fit, and you're going to have some gap in there. Can you see that over here? You're going to have some gap in different places where the ears are keeping you from having that perfect fit right now. So you need to cut the hole and then worry about trying to take some off of the fish mouth.